Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I invite the moderator of the session to kindly join us on stage. Inviting on stage India Head Supply Chain and Logistics Solutions JLL, Mr. Manjunath SR. Very warm welcome to Mr. Manjunath. May I invite Mr. Manjunath onto the stage, please? May we also invite our esteemed panelist of the session on the stage. Inviting on stage Head SEM, Mr. Mohit Jauhari. Very warm welcome to Mr. Mohit. Mohit is Head SEM, Shriram, Pistons and Rings Limited. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Jauhari. May I now invite on stage President and Head Supply Chain, Sheela Foam Limited, Mr. Shonik Goyal. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Goyal. May I also invite on stage Partner Futuristic Boards, Mr. Sanghi, to kindly join us on to the stage, Mr. Sanghi. We're also very privileged to have with us founder and co-CEO, LogHub, Mr. Dirk. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Dirk. Also inviting on stage, trusted advisor, SAP, Mr. Nikhil Kamat. Very warm welcome to you, sir. Before I request the moderator of the session to take over, may I say a few words about Mr. Manjunath. Mr. Manjunath is responsible for supporting clients throughout their supply chain journey, from strategy development to operational implementation. His primary focus is on delivering the best service, cost efficiency and sustainability for JLL clients. With his extensive experience in the supply chain and logistic field spanning over 2 decades, Mr. Manjunath plays a vital role in maintaining JLL's leadership position in the supply chain domain in India. Additionally, Mr. Manjunath assists clients in evaluating their existing supply chain system and devises appropriate solutions to support long-term planning and decision-making. With those words, may I request Mr. Manjunath to kindly take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. If I can quickly, wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. And I see a lot of energy from the people sitting here. If I can actually quickly ask you to kind of give a 1-minute introduction of yourself so that it becomes easy for audience to understand what kind of veterans that we have on the stage. Over to you, Dirk. You can start from there. You can just give an introduction of yourself to the team.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, I'm Dirk Hanschur. I'm since many years in the world of supply chain design, optimization and network design engineering, and founded LogHub with a few others 2017. We have a global presence, and now we are here, and I really enjoy the first LogiMAT in India here.
Hi everyone, my name is Krishan Sanghi. So I am a partner in Futuristic Bots LLP. So we create advanced, intelligent, autonomous mobile robots, and so basically, as you will talk about, what we try to automate the logistic operation.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shonik Goyal. I head the supply chain function for a company called Sheela Foam Limited, more popularly known as Sleepwell. While, of course, we are in the business of sleep, but I would request all of you to remain awake in this session because this is really going to be an insightful session. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nikhil Kamat and I am from SAP. I head the supply chain portfolio of SAP for India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh for growing companies.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohit Jauhari and I take care of supply chain for Shriram, Pistons and Rings, a company which touches each of your lives on a daily basis because 99+% of vehicles on Indian roads have components supplied by Shriram Pistons. And I look forward to an engaging discussion with esteemed panel and headed by Manju. So all the best, gentlemen, and all the best to all of you as well because we need your feed to make it enriching.
Thank you so much for quick round of this introduction. So what we are going to do today is, logistics advisory and optimization is a vast subject in a way. It starts from 5,000 feet height and comes all the way till the closer to maybe a few feet away from what you are doing today. But what we are going to do today is we'll touch upon, come from that height all the way till the bottom and try see how do we kind of navigate through this. And definitely we need your support in, asking us, challenging those questions. But we will keep those questions at the later part of the discussion. So what we are going to do is I'll set the context like what we are thinking and based on my conversations, what I had so far. So if you see from a, I speak to a couple of them since we were also discussing CFOs and CEOs and the supply chain people. All of us are in a very under pressure in terms of cost cutting, cost saving, service improvements, time, all this stuff, right? So there is a lot of pressure. And everybody from the CFOs level, they think that from a cost perspective, they are also trying to do a lot of optimization, right? Now, for us, everything boils down to EBITDA numbers. That's where we are in. So that is one side of the story. And the other side of the story, if you see all the automation, digitization that are coming in, now it is kind of, if you see, compare the mobiles or the handphones, that evolution that happened. Earlier, it was all hardware intensive, where you see those buttons and all were there, and it was hardware intensive. When the brain came in as a operating system, it has become too much for us to kind of use it. So there is no hardware intensive as on today. Similarly, if you compare the automation solutions that you see today, they are all hardware intensive to an extent. But when I speak to a couple of them, they say that over a period of time, that becomes a commodity, right? The background that you do as a brain that you develop, that is what drives the entire chain. Yeah, keeping those two things in mind. So that's where we are in, and we have a panels coming from manufacturing side and the consulting side, as well as from the technology, as well as the distribution side of it. We will take these questions to them, understand what they have to think about it. Okay, let me start with Shonik, Mohit coming from the manufacturing side and the distribution side, and Dirk coming from the consulting side of the business on the optimization. So how does the warehouse or manufacturing locations play a role in the in the business that you are doing?
Yes. So first of all, we do not have own manufacturing plants and own warehousing locations. However, we are empowering companies that they can review their supply chains and optimize their supply chains with us. And a lot of them have, especially manufacturing companies, also part of logistics companies, have outsourced exactly that role to us. So we are reviewing, monitoring permanently supply chains across the globe with all different production steps in between and warehouses. And this is something, so it's not just one network. We take a look in parallel to many networks, and definitely takes we take care of that. We had some challenges the last years because of the many disruptions we had, due to the many instances we had, Corona and so on, and it definitely plays a super strong role in our daily business.
So good afternoon once again, and see, it's a very pertinent question, come which way. Now, the core of any design or any company or any logistics, or for that matter, anything that we do, has to be customer centricity. Now, if you are oriented towards your customers, all the actions need to be aligned towards making a delightful customer, making your customer delighted in everything and anything that you do. We have got used to a 10-minute delivery. We have got so much used to cabs arriving at the time that they are supposed to come, and even if there's a 1-minute delay, we kind of get jittery. So the customer centricity, because all of us are becoming very discerning as customers. We want everything to happen as if we wish something, we want that thing to happen in a real life scenario. So that's the kind of expectations the customers have gone up to. So keeping that in mind, you need to have, but having said that, you need to optimize your resources as well. So there are two things: delighting the customer, but making sure that your operations are profitable in doing so. So keeping that in mind, you need to design your warehouses, you need to design your manufacturing setup, optimizing the costs. Cost and profitability are the core on which businesses survive first and then thrive. So unless you save money and plow it back into the business, nothing's going to happen. Now, the two things which matter here are digitalization and automation. What does digitalization and automation do to your business? It helps in streamlining operations. I'll explain how it streamlines operations in a bit. And the other thing is, we are sitting on piles and piles of data. How do we make use of that data and get into predictive analytics so as to optimize your overall supply chain end to end? So these are the two themes on which you need to work upon. Now I'll give you two concepts to take care of this whole jargon that we have just discussed. So there are two themes. One is the 3C concept which I've coined, and the 3T concept which I am going to share with you right now. So the 3C's stand for connect, communicate and collaborate. So you have the 3C's running across the supply chain, from the supplier to the customer. When you integrate, so first is connect the supply chain end to end, start communicating end to end, real time at that, and then you collaborate. So a lot of collaboration works towards optimizing your delivery towards the customer. Unless you collaborate across the supply chain, work in silos, no company is going to become big. You look at the biggest names on planet Earth, whether it's an Amazon or a Flipkart or an Apple, they collaborate end to end and communicate, obviously, with their end-to-end supply chain partners from the back end to the front end. The other concept that companies need to use and deploy is a 3T concept. 3 T's would stand for trust, teamwork, and most importantly, transparency is the key word. So once you have transparency across the supply chain, you are willing to share information across the supply chain, you will have a lot of trust getting built into the chain, and that will lead to a lot of teamwork. So companies which are good at the 3C and the 3Ts are the ones who are going to survive and thrive. And most importantly, customer centricity. Keeping all of these things in mind, using a lot of data to predict customer behavior, using a lot of analysis to optimize your operations. So if I were to decide on the location of a manufacturing setup or a warehouse, I would keep these things in mind, making sure that the customer is taken care of, but using a lot of information, back-end data and everything, I minimize my cost to the lowest possible. So that's my take on this. Thank you for a patient hearing. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Dirk, for taking care of most of the points. I think for us to design a manufacturing setup or a warehousing setup, I think demand centers are very, very important. Typically in a business where we are. So, for example, a mattress generally is an immediate buying, right? You'll spend time on furnitures, you'll spend time on interiors, and the last thing on your mind is a mattress. The day when you are about to shift to your new home, you'll probably realize that mattresses are required. And the moment you step out on the market, you will come back after buying the mattress. So it's very important that all assortment of mattresses are available in Sleepwell World, Sleepwell Galleries, and and so on and so forth. So the availability of material on shelf is very, very important in all the demand centers. And that's how you integrate, and that's how you do backward integration to ensure your manufacturing hubs and your warehouses are close to your demand centers so that you can replenish the stocks day in and day out. I think that is very, very important. The time taken to replenish the stocks is most important because it's a voluminous product. You can't do shipment, you can't do transshipments day in and day out, and the risk of damage to a mattress is huge. Nobody as a customer would like to have a slightly damaged mattress, right? Because we are all very sensitive, and mattress typically is very personal and private to us. It's part of our bedroom, right? So it's very private to us. So I think the demand centers need to be thoroughly studied, and then only the warehouses and the manufacturing hubs need to be planned. Thank you. Hello.
I think great points. As Mohit mentioned, the 3 C's and 3 T's are very, very important from the business perspective and from the demand, point of view that you think. And it finally boils down to a service, a cost, and the time, right? These three has to be managed. Now let's ask from Dirk, when you design any supply chain strategies activities from the optimization perspective, what are the must-have parameters for somebody like Shonik to decide this is the warehouse location or a manufacturing footprint that I have to have?
Yes. So first of all, there are complete different parameters comparing manufacturing to warehousing. So we have complete different parameters in manufacturing than warehousing. On the manufacturing side, I mean, the overall game of every company is somehow to maximize the profit. And by taking a look to the manufacturing side, there is, first of all, of course, the target market. Yeah. It always makes sense to somehow be close to the target market in order to have short reaction times, especially whenever we're not building on stock but building to order. Then it's even more important to come closer to the target market. On the other hand, we have also the sourcing market, and sometimes it plays also a role to be more on the sourcing part. So it's a trade-off between both sides of that side. It could also be that the manufacturing is just an intermediate manufacturing within the companies, and we have different production steps across the globe. Then it's a little bit different. What is also important is that at the place where the manufacturing will be, there is enough labor capacity, especially for the type of what needs to be manufactured. So that's why these are parameters which are completely independent and different from the warehousing point of view, and of course also operational costs. Yeah, so local costs on the at that site. We need to take a look also to risk as number 5. An invest in a manufacturing location is a much bigger one than just a warehousing one, and it's much longer one. So if I take a decision, I'm not that flexible. I cannot move manufacturing sites from one day to the other. So it's a long-term investment. That's why it makes sense to take carefully a look to that. And on the risk side, there are many, many things on the risk side. There are nature risks. There are political risks. There are could be many, many things on that side. And we also need to take a look as number 6 to the future developments of that. How is that location developing in the next future? This is something we need to take a look in the role. Now, coming to the warehousing part, on the warehousing, it depends a little bit. If we are talking about an upstream warehouse where I maybe just collect from many, many suppliers and just feeding into a production plant, or if you're talking about a downstream warehouse where I need to be closer to my customers, or maybe it's also just a transit warehouse, or could also be that we are just talking about a cross stock. Yeah. So it really depends on that side. If we, for example, take a look to a downstreaming warehouse, this means we have a sourcing part, and also there we have a trade-off between sourcing, where the goods are coming from and where the goods are going to on the other hand. We have a sourcing part where I do have the possibility, just because I do have in stock somewhere, to consolidate as much as possible. So to really go transport cost optimized on that side. This tells me I need to go much closer to the customer on that side. That brings different benefits. So it brings the benefits, of course, of transportation costs on the one side, but also on service level, reaction times. It doesn't make sense that I take a look only to transportation costs, as I also need to be. There is a conflict. It doesn't make sense if I save costs on transportation, for example, but I have lost sales. So I need to always take a look to total cost of ownership to get all in, and there isn't trade-off, and that's why it is that complex on that side. However, the closer I come to a customer, the more warehouses I need. So also there isn't trade-off. So finally, it really depends if it is manufacturing, warehousing, and what type of warehousing, what type of manufacturing.
I think, yeah, as you said, so it makes sense to consider end-to-end optimization point of view and see what exactly clients is looking for. From Shonik, so from a customer point of view, so what are the parameters that you consider generally?
So I think the biggest what should I say? Post COVID, I think the customer has become very impatient, right? So everybody needs everything right now with a blink of an eye. Everybody needs everything now. Now, the biggest challenge for us is that while standard sizes are available in the market, the larger issue comes when we have a customized size to be delivered. So I think one of the attributes which we are looking for designing our warehousing system is to have a mini manufacturing available in our warehouses, wherein a standard size can be transformed into a customized size, right? So we need a cutting machine, we need a tapaging machine, and we need fabric to ensure that we convert our standard size mattress into customized size mattress and deliver to the customer within 24 hours. I think that's the customization that we are looking forward in our warehousing setup. And that's important because mini manufacturing is important in the warehousing, and a warehouse needs to be in that hub where there is sufficient transport availability, where we can ship in, ship out material quickly. There are no entry restrictions and so on and so forth. Because there are times when customer needs deliveries, same day, right? And we commit to deliver. And at this point of time, we are delivering about 70% of our orders within 24 hours. That's the kind of efficacy we have today. But then the desire of getting to 80%, desire to getting to 90%, and so on and so forth, keeps the supply chain constantly evolving. Yeah.
Great. I think actually, as you said, so service is one thing. At the same time, reverse logistics, another pain area. I think that's a bigger, discussion that we can have it later. Now coming to Nikhil and Krishan sir, from a now we know there is a warehouse, there is a manufacturing, there is certain challenges we have decided where to go for. Now let's get inside the warehouse and see what are the general applications or software applications which are available in the market, which can kind of give you a lot of optimization related activities inside the warehouse.
Yeah, sure. So I think before I get into that, and like Shonik already mentioned, right, 24 hours delivery. In fact, one of the, I don't know, I should call it worst or the great trend, which a lot of quick service delivery companies are bringing in, right? 5-minute delivery of FMCG goods and all. It is basically programming the mind of a customer that if I'm not going to get it within 2, 3, 4 hours, I don't want it. I will move on, right? And there is a lot of competition happening. So that is one thing which is driving, and I think Mohit mentioned about demand centers, being closer to the customer. In fact, QSD is a classic example where they plan their demand centers, right? Now, how does this entire planning work? So Mohit also mentioned about data, right? How do I mine that data effectively? So do I have algorithms? Do I have AI, machine learning? And it's not just about my data, but surrounding data and everything, right? The entire dynamics around that geography or that density, many other things are there. Now, that is a real-time insight which happens. And when I say this is where the entire software industry is also moving, right? One of the aspects is analytics and machine learning and AI is something which we have seen. Now, when you come to a warehousing application itself, right? And itself, it's not a warehouse, we call it. We call it an intelligent warehouse. We saw a lot of robots and many other things coming out, right? But this is not just what comes in and what goes out of the warehouse itself is a complex system, right? Primarily from a supply chain perspective. My sales is forecasting something and how fast I can fulfill the order, right? Even from an automotive perspective, there is a repair which is to be done. If I tell my customer, sorry, the parts are not there, it's again a challenge, right? It's a satisfaction because parts drive the business. In fact, my wife uses a lot of cars and she chooses cars based on the part availability of the car, not on the, so that's how choices are. Talking about analytics, yes, this is gone and undergone a change. A lot of these are driven through KPIs and insights. What I would like to do is maybe run a quick video to summarize what I wanted to say, right? So can we run the video 3? It's about analytics. What type of analytics? Let me just run this quick video and that completes my answer.
Analytics in the warehouse is only part of the equation. The challenge of individual solutions comes with increased amounts of data in the respective silos, which can ultimately disable an organization from viewing the holistic picture. Logistics professionals want their questions answered. Questions like, how does my labor affect my overall ability to promise? And how do my individual processes in the warehouse impact the comprehensive cost for a specific product or customer? These are questions that rely on data sources that live outside of the warehouse, such as order management, production, and finance. To answer these questions, SAP offers a solution that harmonizes data silos and brings real-time insights with SAP Analytics Cloud. With SAP Analytics Cloud, you can see an overall warehouse performance dashboard, compare key performance indicators across each warehouse and business unit, use data from the order management system to give full customer order lifecycle times, have inventory supply visibility by warehouse to support forecasting and planning. In this example, we will drill into the warehouses and KPIs. We can see that our on-time and in-full shipment KPI has a very low percentage. Let's find out what's impacting this particular KPI. Looking at the outbound picking process, we can see a significant number of waves that are late for their customers. By filtering through attributes within the categories of those waves, we can gain a granular picture and explore what makes them unique. In this case, the focus is on the product packaging and the choice between cases and pallets. SAP Analytics Cloud sorts through all the data and provides insights on the overdue waves. This insight helps us better understand why they are late. The focus is on the number of man-hours in the packaging process, which impacts the order cycle time as well as the on-time, in-full shipment KPI. To conclude, let's take a look at some of the predictive and simulation capabilities of SAP Analytics Cloud. Logistics professionals can understand what influencers are affecting certain waves and manipulate them to make change. With the ability to alter some of these influencers, we determine that selecting pallets versus cases reduces pack time and man-hours in the overall cycle time in the warehouse. This influencer is a key driver in the waves that were overdue, which ultimately impacts our on-time, in-full KPI. With the unique power of enterprise analytics, you have a single unified view without cobbling together reports from multiple systems. True insight to action enables you to explore, predict, and act all in one place.
Thank you, and I think this is just a view of it, right? And the idea here is these insights are not coming just from your SAP ERP. This is coming from all your connected systems, be it robots or whatever it is, right? So it's all coming from robots or your typically the automated retrieval systems, wherever information is coming, it's all synchronized into one single dashboard. Yeah.
Thank you, Nikhil. That was a great video. And all the discussion we have had and all the analysis, the fact remains we are in the business of moving material. But all the instructions, if they are not followed on the ground exactly, then the efficiency, the planning, everything can go haywire. For example, let's take a simple thing. There are positions, there are places where the trained man, you have to hire manpower only locally. Even if the quality of training is good or bad, but you are forced to hire trained manpower locally. So what happens? You are in a continuous cycle of training and retraining, and those people, they don't really care, but they are not looking for career. They are just there because you have to hire them. And we know that better because we handle 1,500, we handle 400 sites in India. So and employ 2,000 drivers. So we know that very well. And that is where, and this is just one problem. There are other, and then when they go there, they end up doing errors. Humans are after all humans. They have to doing error. So that is where the bots can help a delivery, because bots deliver a accurate, a error-free, they execute these tasks error-free. and then they are available 24/7. Convert में weather, flu, COVID, they are available 24/7. So once implemented, once designed and implemented, they are available and they provide a better throughput, error-free throughput, better available 24/7, and then of course they provide the tracking. Now, having said that's where the bots play the important role. All the optimization will work only if your bots are working well. And then, having said that, it is not as simple a task, because again, as you mentioned, it is not just giving the instruction to the bots, it's also getting the data back. If the instruction was followed properly, was there any error, what was the actual performance? So that's where the bots optimization is equally important as the analysis and the software, because that's the final delivery mechanism.
I think it's a great point. Let's also understand from Mohit and Dirk what they have to say. How do you see these, when it comes to automation, these bots kind of help you in optimizing the warehouses from the technology perspective?
Yes, I see it more from a different perspective. I see it more from a data streaming, data automation perspective. It both needs to go hand in hand. As we all know, whenever we just starting a redesign, it always starts with a huge data gathering upfront and data crunching upfront. And the idea is, and I can fully agree what we have seen also in your nice video, is to build a real digital twin. We have in all of those companies, there are tons of data available in all different vaults, in ERP systems. Maybe we have different ERP systems across the globe. We have WMS systems, we have LMS systems, we have whatever. And the idea is to put a data stream bot on top of that who brings that all together, and that we have permanently and live insight in all of the logistics processes worldwide. And we can step in most of the companies, in nearly all of the companies across the globe, also companies where we do not believe it, that processes worldwide are completely intransparent. This means I'm not able to take quick decisions on top of that. Yeah, I always need to get, first of all, the assist situation done. And if you put bots on that, and if you put data streaming bots on that, to give us that real time insight on that, then this brings me much step further. And every other project and every other decision is just a warm start and can be performed in a much quicker way.
Interesting. Yeah. You want to add anything there? Shall we? Because they are staring at us. So I will actually move on to the last question before we kind of go there. I want to kind of have one last wrap-up question. So how do you see the logistics and warehousing for the future of India per se in the next few years coming in?
Logistics future, INTERISTING. So it's going to be very, very interesting, and the future is here. If we feel that the future is somewhere down the line or few years down the line, it's not so. The future is here. I'll give you certain examples of what companies are doing and how they're going about it. For example, the last mile or urban logistics is a thing which is already here, whether it's micro fulfillment centers or lockers where the customers can go and collect their stuff. So companies like Amazon are already doing it through vendor managed inventory. So that's one thing which is going to pan out. So there are 7 things which are going to happen or are happening right now. The first was the last mile thing. The second is digitalization, wherein a lot of data is being used for predicting consumer behavior and integrating all the functions end to end. It's not one function that's going to help companies thrive. It is the integration of the functions end to end. That's what's going to change. For example, GAP, which handles 500,000 SKUs. Have you ever had a scenario wherein they have run out of stock of a particular SKU out of the 500,000 SKUs that they deal in? So that's the kind of work that companies are doing. Big data and predictive analytics is being used by, say, Apple in a big way. They use the minimum stock but rely heavily on order fulfillment. So that's the integration that they've done in their supply chain. E-commerce and omni-channel. I spoke about collaboration in the supply chain. So a lot of collaboration across the companies across similar type of companies is happening, which is leading to this consolidation of warehousing space, making sure that the customers get a one-stop shop to shop for anything and everything. It's being used by so many of the companies. Sustainability is the fifth element, which is panning out big time. And no wonder that the best companies in the world, from a turnover point of view, are also the ones who are doing a lot of sustainability initiatives, whether it is Amazon, DHL, UPS. They are known for their sustainability initiatives, right from using biodegradable packing to using the most efficient fuel and whatnot. The sixth thing which is going to pan out, and my friend Mr. Sanghi is going to love it, is the autonomous vehicles and drones, which are going to come about, or rather are coming for last minute deliveries, though there are certain legal hassles which need to be addressed as far as drone delivery is concerned. But Amazon and UPS are using it big time. And last but not the least, the seventh thing which is going to pan out in the logistics space is the use of IoT and ML. A lot of machine learning in what we do or companies do is going to differentiate companies from the competition. I'll give you an example of DHL, which manages the entire fleet. I mean, they have a track record of what their fleet is all about, what is going to happen to a particular truck at what point of time. So a lot of predictive analytics is being used to make sure that their trucks are running up and running all the time. Coming home to India, you have a company called VECV, Volvo Eicher Commercial Vehicles, which has put in place a system wherein they have integrated all the vehicles that are running on the road. They use predictive analytics to predict that this particular vehicle in, say, running in Talegaon somewhere is going to have a breakdown 100 kilometers down the line, and this is the closest breakdown center for a particular component that they may require. So those are the kind of inputs that are being qualitative inputs that are being handed out to the customers. And I spoke about customer centricity in the beginning. So that is what is at the back end of all of this that is happening. You have to delight your customers, and these 7 steps are going to help you do that. Thank you.
Great insights. Yeah. Shonik, you want to kind of wrap?
So I think as an industry, supply chain, logistics, warehousing, I think this is the place to be in. Delightful future awaits. In fact, the present is also equally delightful. I think the national logistics policy, and I would like to, really applaud the government of India for putting together the national logistics policy. Unveiled in September 2022. There's a lot of work that has been done. 14 multimodal logistics parks are operational as I speak. The direct freight corridors are becoming operational. And the overall number of kilometers that a shipment is going to travel is getting optimized as I speak, with a beautiful highway network which is taking shape across the country, with multimodal logistics, railways, waterways, and roadways coming together, right, with the Sagarmala and Bharatmala schemes. I think, as the road infrastructure across the country and as the railways and waterways come together, I think going forward, the speed of delivery is going to improve drastically. The cost, which used to be at 12, 13, 14%, has already started coming down to about 10, 11% as I speak. I think we would like to reach maybe 6, 7% or maybe even lesser than that. I think that is where a lot of effort is being put into, and as things shape up in 24, 25, 26, I think by 27, I think it is gonna become really competitive, and I think that is gonna propel the industry, the industrial revolution going forward, and make in India is going to be a reality, and India becoming the 3rd largest economy is just a matter of time now. If you really ask me, the future of logistics, warehousing, and so on and so forth, it's very bright. And I think we've already started witnessing a lot of growth in terms of, structured warehousing, right? The other day there was an article just 2-3 days back that we witnessed about 12-13% growth in the organized warehousing, right? I mean, that all goes well for the country at large and for logistics, warehousing and supply chain at large. Thank you.
And I'd supplement Shonik on what he said about the logistics cost. So there's a organization called the National Council of Applied Research, Economic Research. They published a status wherein the logistics cost as per the 21-22 is 7.8 to 8.9%. So it's already come down, and come down like how? So that's the way we are progressing.
I think it's a great session. So I think there is a lot of insights that we have kind of learned from them, from veterans. So what I picked few points from the conversation is the three C's and three T's coming in, and the digitization, AI, ML coming in, and sustainability is something which everybody is talking about. I think this is the industry to be in and be a part of it. Jump on, and you have a lot of things to do in future. I think this is the right time to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm sure there must be some interjection and questions, but we take time to kind of sweep it inside. We can always do that during the little break. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we are concluding our technical session on logistic advisory and optimization. A huge round of applause for the panelists, especially for the moderator of the session, for wonderfully conducting and concluding the session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, distinguished speakers of the session. On behalf of the organizing team, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude representing mementos, and may I request Ms. Radhika to kindly join us onto the stage and present a memento to the Honorable Moderator of the session, Mr. Manjunath. Thank you so much, sir, for making it so interesting and sharing your experiences with us. We now present a memento to Mr. Mohit Jauhari. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sparing some time and being with us here at the LogiMAT for the discussion on logistics, advisory and optimization. May we now present a memento to Mr. Shonik Goyal. Presenting a memento to Mr. Sanghi. We also thank Mr. Nikhil Kamat. And thank you so much, Mr. Dirk, for being with us. Thank you. And it was a pleasure, Mr. Dirk. Thank you so much, panelists, for sharing your thoughts with us. May I request you all to kindly step forward for a group photograph, and that shall stay in our memory, captured in our technology.